30, take 2.
Suspect.
From the early days of Breaking Bad, the writers and I sat around the room, and almost as a joke at first, we said, well, you know, someday when we're doing the Better Call Saul spinoff series, we'll be able to do this, and we'll be able to do thus and so. And it really did start off as a lark.
As soon as he emerged on Breaking Bad, we thought there's more here. There's more stories to be told.
A lot of people were wondering, why don't you do a show instead about Jesse Pinkman? Why don't you do a show instead about Hank? And I don't have a good answer for why we shouldn't do those shows, because I would watch that in a minute. All I can say for sure is that Saul Goodman, once we started writing him on Breaking Bad, all of the writers, starting with Peter Gould, who created the character, it was Saul first appeared in one of his episodes, we all just love writing for the guy.
Whenever there was something that was too crazy or it just didn't feel fit in the world of Breaking Bad, we'd say, oh, it'll be in the Saul Goodman spinoff.
I had the attitude that if Vince and Peter had an idea that inspired them, then I would be more than happy to do it.
It's showtime, folks.
It's good to be back. It feels kind of like deja vu, except not. It feels new, and yet it feels the same. So much of the crew is the same as on Breaking Bad, which is a wonderful thing. Harry, tilt up just a scotch. There you go, right back there. Good.
It's a wonderful group, and we brought a lot of people back from Breaking Bad, and really devoted, really talented department heads and crew members and it's just like a family reunion.
It was great to have so many familiar faces and familiar landscapes, because the more that you could have to help keep you grounded finding the show was just so helpful.
And action. I feel a little nervous because just wanted to go right. And there's so many variables. So much of it comes down to little details like the Bob's hair, stuff like that. We're set in 2002, 5-6 years earlier, so we have to take that age off the character in terms of makeup and hair and all those kind of things. I love it. I love what you do, Bob. How was that feeling?
That one felt good.
That was great. I mean, we're coming off of Breaking Bad. I was coming off of, speaking for myself, I'm coming off of the work of a lifetime.
In a weird way, it's harder to follow a success than a failure. I should know this. I've had a lot of failures.
The fear you have going into it is, what if I screw it up? What if I do something that's so bad? What if we, working together through no intentional action on our parts, come up with something that sullies the memory of the mothership of the previous show?
Nobody knew what this was going to be. It wasn't like coming back to season 4, season 5 of Breaking Bad, where you knew what you had and it was a great show and everybody's all in because you want to keep it. It's like, we didn't know.
I mean, we'd use the same style as Breaking Bad. A lot of the same writers, a lot of the same crew. It felt very much like we were making a Breaking Bad episode, but it's just a different world.
I had to kind of get my head around the fact that it was very different from Breaking Bad and let Breaking Bad go, because we're all bringing Breaking Bad baggage with us, and we're bringing Saul Goodman baggage with us.
You move, and you're dead.
It came from an honest place, and ultimately I figured that would win out on some level. Ultimately, whether it was in the first season or second or third, if we got there, people would see that this came from honest effort.
When we started the series, I didn't have any idea how slowly the transformation would go from Jimmy to Saul. There was some real debate in the room, and I think we made the right choice of going slower rather than quicker. So we're taking our time and really seeing how this character becomes Saul.
He's just a different Saul Goodman. I mean, he's Jimmy McGill.
Once again, I do all the talking. That's the only way this works.
Typically on Breaking Bad, and even on Better Call Saul, we like to tell our stories through images rather than words, and yet sometimes it's just fun to spew out reams and reams of dialogue. And we all wish we could talk like Saul Goodman. I do. I wish I could come up with stuff off the top of my head like he does. He's just effortless in his ability to spin blarney and bullshit in equal measures.
I will collect my moronic clients, and poof, we are gone. Neither you nor your lovely Abuelita will ever lay eyes on us, ever again.
Watching Jimmy it's just a joy the way he plays him. He's so funny. He makes your lines even funnier than you hope they could be.
Wow. You got a mouth on you. Thank you.
I think we wrote the character pretty serious for the most part, But Bob just brings a flavor to it that I love. I mean, just a line I have in my script where he turns to Ray and says, "What you drinking?" I don't know if I intended it to be that funny in the script, but he made it very, very, very funny with his delivery.
He has a sickness. Now, he hates me that much. I hate him more. What you drinking?
Jimmy.
I was a fan long before he ever got onto Breaking Bad.
He's a hero to me. I just think he's amazing. I think he's brilliant and a genius. Don't let him see. He can't see this, right? Back to Mr. Show, my friends and I could quote all the lines.
I don't know if he still thinks of himself primarily as a writer, but that is his background is primarily as a writer, and he's a great writer, So as a result, you could have somebody who would be like kind of second guessing your choices as a writer, but he's really, really respectful, and he asks questions, and he really wants to push to make sure that things are the best they possibly can be.
And then I come down here and go, "Hey buddy, with us?" Like I'm scared, but he could still jump up at me just to fuck with me. That's really good. And then I do this.
When we started the show, one of our great challenges was how do you get in the heart of Jimmy McGill? And for me, one of the moments when this character came to life was when we realized that he has a brother.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm gonna need my. It's.
As soon as we started talking about this character, the first idea we had was Michael McKean.
Coffee?
I think you learn so much about Jimmy because there is a tenderness that he has for Chuck, but he also truly wants Chuck's respect.
My phone's ringing off the hook. I have 3 consults before lunchtime. 3.
That's great, Jimmy. I had heard that there was going to be this prequel spinoff. I was a big Breaking Bad fan, and I was working with Bryan Cranston. We had done All the Way together in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and we're performing it on Broadway, and at one point, we're about to go on, and Bryan turns to me and says, you should really play the brother. You should play Saul's brother in the prequel. I said, what? I'll tell you later. And then we both make this entrance, and of course I can't think about anything else except what you just said to me, Bryan. Well, later on that evening, I said, I hadn't really heard much about this. She said, oh yeah, no, they're gonna call you about it. So sure enough, they call and we talk a little bit, and like I say, a big Breaking Bad fan. You come off of the best written drama series, maybe in TV history. That's kind of a pedigree.
He finds levels in the character, I think, that we didn't necessarily know were there when we were breaking it, and then when it got on its feet, he so much became that character and sort of steered where the direction of things went.
I'm going to beat this. I'm going to get better.
Yeah, sure.
There's nothing more to talk about.
This is a guy who is allergic to the 21st century. He is truly old school. And that makes for a fascinating contrast between these two guys.
It's wonderful to play stuff that writers think is going to be difficult. And in this case, it was Vince and Peter telling me this is the turn it takes. And when I read episode 8, I was beginning to get a glimmer of that. And it was just, boy, give me something to play. Give me something that you think is going to be hard, and I'll take your word for it, and I'll work hard on it, and I'll find it, and we'll play it.
Chuck?
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by sweethearts on this cast. Jonathan Banks, he may be the biggest one of all. He's a real, very kind, gentle soul.
You gonna gum me to that, huh, geezer? Oh, ow, ow!
I mean, the first thing I said to Jonathan when I saw him, and I said, I gotta tell you, when they shot Mike, I was bereft. And he just grabbed my hand and he goes, me too. It was a tough day.
When you get a character that has dimension, that is so rich, it is so rewarding to play it. I'm so glad I came back to Better Call Saul, because I knew I loved playing Mike. But it reminds me of how much more there is to do with Mike.
You still in touch with your people?
Depends on the type of work you're looking for. Your do's, your don'ts, your wills, your won'ts.
Well, you tell me what you got. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Mike Ehrmantraut is a magnetic character on Breaking Bad, but he's also enigmatic. He's so good that it would cause us a problem in the writer's room. We knew this is a guy who is within the world of the things that he does. He can almost see around corners.
Wow. Now that's impressive.
Right now, we know he's going to make a little extra money for his daughter-in-law and for his granddaughter, Kelley. But what's going to cause him to actually kill? What's going to cause him to work with Gus Fring? And that's a question I think we're sort of obligated to answer if the show goes on long enough.
Oh, hey. I asked you if you knew anything. You didn't tell me you were representing the lead suspect.
I didn't know it at the time.
I was with my now fiance, and we were going out for my birthday, for a birthday dinner. And yeah, on the street in Venice, in LA, with my agent and manager calling to tell me that I'd gotten the part. And I was screaming and crying in public, makeup everywhere.
Ray is beautiful, smart, funny, tough, just like Kim is all those things. Kim's maybe less funny. People think I think she's kind of cold. I think she is kind of cold, the character. But I think it's out of protecting herself. You know, she's a woman in a high-powered man's world.
I feel like she has a real inner life that we maybe haven't discovered all of it yet, but you can see that it exists.
Listen, I agree that Chuck needs help, and maybe it's the right thing to do, but you can't do it like this.
It's a nice, welcome change from a lot of female characters that can just be a function of your male lead. And that was something that we very much did not want.
The cease and desist is just the beginning. The next step is an injunction. You can't win this fight.
She does seem to show a softer side to Jimmy. I think that they're very compatible. They're friends.
I love playing the relationship between Kim and Jimmy because it is not black and white. Even your lousy days are more interesting than my good ones.
Yeah, well, we should definitely do something about that.
I especially love writing for Kim because, I know the woman on the show, but at the same time, she's such a fun character to write for. And her and Jimmy together, those are my favorite scenes when I get to write for both of them. They have a shorthand. There's a lot of stuff going on between the lines. And so I love watching those scenes and writing those scenes.
This is way better than the other one.
You think?
Yeah, who goes in here? Because I'd be all up in here if I were you. That scene was amazing to play because you see the ease of their friendship, and that's so much fun to play that chemistry.
It is real nice.
It's a corner office. You gotta go with the corner office.
I was saving it for someone.
Who?
Well, my partner.
Your partner? Who would that be? And I got so many tweets. Why didn't you take the corner office? Like, people were very upset about that.
They're gonna love you, Howard. You're so down to earth and relatable.
We used the name Hamlin as a placeholder, as in Harry Hamlin from LA Law. And for the entire season, we were like, what are we going to change this name to? And finally, Hamlin just stuck. We kept saying Hamlin McGill as a joke.
I don't think Howard Hamlin has anything to worry about. The sun is shining on his street. And I think I think he very much feels that he's earned it.
Characters present themselves to you over time, over seasons, over many episodes. They gradually reveal themselves to you.
Hamlin, there's still a lot to learn about him. He starts off like a good foil for Jimmy and a possibly bad guy, but we learn a few things about him, and he's not so bad after all.
You've been doing all of this every day? For over a year?
You'll take care of this?
Absolutely.
Patrick is the sweetest guy. So that, I think, his natural honesty and straightforwardness and sweetness helps inform that character. And in the end, hopefully you don't hate him because you shouldn't. And it's a great conflicting character. It's great.
That's my suit, right?
The challenge, costume-wise and wardrobe-wise, for a character that's already been set. The audience knows what he's going to end up looking like. So the challenge was, how does he start? And I came up with this idea that he would wear brown suits and that they would be double-breasted. And then no one else on the show. You won't even see an extra or anyone else with a double-breasted suit, and certainly not a brown one. If you watch the show and you start to see who's what, you'll see that their colors correspond to what side of the track they're from.
Mijo?
I used grays and navies and blues for people who are lawyers and policemen that are very by the book, law-abiding. And then those that are on the opposite side of the tracks, what I call the hustlers and the cons, and the crooks and the criminals, and the slick guys. I did them in the New Mexico colors, the desert, the tans, the oranges, the reds of the sunset. So you'll see when you watch the Kettlemans, she wears a lot of orange, almost exclusively. And then Jimmy now, he's a little bit of both. So he's sort of like the middle. He has a moral compass. The brown becomes a very intermediate color. It's neither good nor bad.
Does a steaming pile of crap scream payday to you, huh?
That Esteem that Jimmy drives, I have to say I was at a stoplight and I was behind a car. I just happened to notice, I happened to fixate on the badge. It was a Suzuki Esteem.
There's something right about the word esteem for Jimmy McGill, because a lot of the show seems to revolve around what Jimmy thinks of himself.
We pass that idea along to Dennis Milliken, our transportation coordinator and transpo captain. Dennis and his guys found us a bunch of Esteems. There's Bob's, Jimmy's car. A piece of shit. They are not that easy to find. And the truth is, it actually is a good little car. And that crappy looking yellow Esteem with the primer red rear door, and that's Tony Fanning and his art department who make it look so crappy with the fake rust painted on. But that car runs like a top.
And of course, the car is in contrast to that Cadillac that we saw Saul Goodman drive on Breaking Bad. They're different vehicles, and he's at a different part of his life.
We have a great editorial team. Most of us have been involved in Breaking Bad one way or another, and it's a great team. We all get along well, we all communicate well, and all have the same passion for the project.
That's a pretty good reaction, but do you have one where he looks even more surprised?
Let's look. I love it when writers and producers are working with me. It's way more fun to get what the writer had in mind, and let's work on this performance, and let's work on this scene to get exactly what we want out of it.
I think we need a bigger line reading for 20 million, which is...
I think we have one.
20 million? 20 million? 20 million? 20 million? 20 million?
So what are we doing, John?
Well, can you play 3 or 5? Just
This is 3.
20 million?
This is 5.
20 million?
But the million from 5 sounds better than a million from 3.
Can you
20 million?
Yeah.
20 million?
It's certainly out.
Good job, Kelley.
Oh, thank you.
That was the best one yet. Good job. Magic. It's magic. It's a magic of editing.
That's why I got into editorial in the first place, is because I love working with writers and producers, and I love working on story.
And then once a picture cut is done, we do a sound pass on everything to sort of make everything live a little bit more.
I'm gonna go on one.
Okay, you're cool with that?
Mm-hmm.
Mike's register, buzz for the lights. Mike's good night.
Good night. Let me take that way down. Good night.
Or is that a duck?
Were you able to dig out business?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's the way.
Huh.
Give it to me, Chandler. I want it all. Fill me up, Chandler. Put it in me.
Chandler's a little round the rim there with the poop blocks.
I've always wanted to have someone watching me and egging me on. Yes.
It's a confidence builder.
Yeah.
That is someplace where I need positive reinforcement.
There's so many places. I think there could be you can just carry it around with you through your life. It will coach
Strap
you.
it to the side of your head. Yeah, that's some sort of a laugh.
Good job, Peter.
Oh, you're a big boy.
The same recording works for all circumstances.
Both shoes on, yay!
That's done. Symphonic swell. Put the up with the wall. Oh yeah.
Look, I'll give the paper back.
Oh gosh. That was unpleasant.
There are dogs howling all over Burbank.
That was unpleasant in the right way.
Yes.
I think. Good job, guys. How's that working for you?
I like all of it.
You good with
everybody?
that?
Yeah. I think it's right in the vein over there.
In season 1 of Better Call Saul, I was nervous the whole time. I'm always nervous. I'm always anxious. But my source of anxiety in season 1 was the damn name of the show is Better Call Saul. And I'm worried people aren't going to think he's badass enough. We got to get to Saul Goodman as quick as we can. That was my fear and my thought all through season 1. And then I started to see the shows edited together, and I started to hear anecdotally how people are reacting to it. And it started to dawn on me, hell, I really like Jimmy McGill.
I have to say, I'm so proud of the way season 1 came out, the way Bob and the rest of the cast brought it to these scripts. I think is beyond my wildest dreams.
I'm dying to get to Saul because he will do anything to be successful. And that is just so much fun. So I'm looking forward to writing those scenes.
We could have gone home with $800,000 each, tax-free.
Your point being?
Why didn't we? What stopped us?
I remember you saying something about doing the right thing.
Now in season 2, as we work on it, I'm thinking, how long can we put off Jimmy McGill becoming Saul Goodman? And if he becomes Saul Goodman, is that the end of the show?
I would love it to run the amount of time that it does to match itself right up to the beginning of Breaking Bad. I think that would be sort of TV heaven to have that work out.
Partner track? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about there's an office in Santa Fe with your name on it. Or there could be.
I want to know, what happened to Chuck? What happened to Kim? That's one of the questions. We don't see these characters on Breaking Bad. So where are they in the future? I'm a little bit worried about it, frankly.
I just hope that America doesn't demand my lynching and that I get to do a few of them this year.
Gee, I hope that season 2 surprises the hell out of me. In becoming Saul Goodman, Jimmy has some success and some fun.
How is the one guy going to turn into the other? I feel like I had a better sense of how Walter White was going to turn into Heisenberg than I do when it comes to how is Jimmy McGill going to turn into Saul Goodman. And it scares me. But fear is a good thing. It's a motivation. It keeps you moving. And hopefully we will figure these things out.
I know what stopped me. And you know what? It's never stopping me again.